Most people have washed their own car before, but very few people have washed their own watch movement before. And it really isn't a whole lot different. It's just a much smaller thing to wash. And it requires a few basic tools and some really minor, easy to learn skills. If you wash a lot of watch movements, you might get some more expensive, fancier washing equipment and more expensive and fancier washing solutions, but you could actually get everything you need to wash a watch movement at home just from a Home Depot, your local hardware store. The reason we wash wristwatch movements is we're trying to remove any oils, dirt, grime, anything that's settled on the movement or on the pinions or the jewels, so that we have nice clean surfaces that we can put new fresh oils and greases on. So the whole goal of washing a mechanical watch movement is just cleaning it and prepping it for fresh oil. Right? We do oil changes on cars regularly, and we also should be doing oil changes on our watches regularly. The difference is things are so precise and really require a clean surface inside of a wristwatch, so we actually have to clean the parts that we're going to re-oil instead of just applying more oil. The first step to cleaning a watch movement is disassembling it. Everything has to be taken apart in order to clean it properly. So that means taking off the bridges by removing all the screws. It means taking out the wheels, removing the mainspring from the barrel, separating the arbor from the mainspring. Everything needs to go down to its basic, single, individual component. The jewels will stay in the watch, except for jewels that can be removed, jewels like the cap jewels, or Inca block, shock protection. Those can be taken out. Once all those pieces have been disassembled, they can be cleaned completely by hand. All you need is a glass jar, a can of denatured alcohol, and a soft bristled brush. All things you could get at your local hardware store. After washing the parts, if you're doing it in a jar with denatured alcohol, you simply take the part out and you use either some clean compressed air, or if you don't have clean compressed air, you can use a little bulb just to blow by hand air onto the surface so that that denatured alcohol evaporates. Then you'll have a clean, dry movement, all ready to be oiled and reassembled. That's actually how every watchmaker starts. A certified watchmaker will first clean watches by hand before ever getting to touch the expensive cleaning equipment that's used in larger restoration facilities or service centers. Even a watchmaker in a large company who's doing restoration of something particularly special or very delicate, they will go back to the glass jar and solvent method to clean, because sometimes the industrial cleaning machines can actually damage an antique watch. When you start looking into cleaning machines, there are really two different types of cleaning machines that are made for cleaning movements. One will clean by agitation, meaning it's moving the parts around in the solution. There's another option which will clean with ultrasonic cleaning. And that means that the ultrasonic waves will be put through the cleaning solution to help clean more aggressively. Cleaning machines that have ultrasonic are usually more expensive, and they're quite difficult to find secondhand. The ultrasonic is really good for quicker, high volume cleaning. If you want to clean a lot of watch movements in a day, ultrasonic is the way to do it. However, the more aggressive cleaning can actually lead to more wear and tear on the movement parts. Things like rhodium plating or gold plating on a movement can actually be damaged from the ultrasonic cleaning. It doesn't happen immediately, but if a watch is 50 years old and it's been cleaned every 5 years, that means 10 cleanings in its life so far. If you've inherited that watch and then you clean it for 50 years, every 5 years, that's 10 more cleanings. At this point, you might start to see that the plating is actually wearing off of movement components. For that reason, sometimes it's actually better to have a cleaning machine that does not use ultrasonic. It preserves the parts better. The machine I use does not have ultrasonic, and I choose that because I don't do high volume cleaning, and I also think it cleans just as well, and it's a lot less money. Sometimes if you have an older watch that is particularly grimy with oil or grease that has been hardened onto the jewels or some of the parts, you might need to do some pre-cleaning, which means using soft wood, like a pith wood, to remove the hard to remove grease. Older watches, oftentimes, if they haven't been serviced recently, will have really tough to remove grease. And that's because the oils and greases that were used were not synthetic. So they actually would harden over time because they were, depending on the age, made of whale blubber or things like that that would actually go rancid and harden. These can be much harder to clean and oftentimes will require a lot of pre-cleaning before even getting to the final clean and then re-oil and reassembly. Washing in a cleaning machine means we can put all the parts into little compartmentalized wire baskets or plastic baskets that will then be put into the machine, and it'll be like running a load of clothing through your washing machine, where they'll spin, agitate, potentially go through ultrasonic. They'll then have a rinse phase, and then they will have a drying phase. And it'll all be done at once. Usually takes about 20 to 35 minutes, depending on the settings you've chosen. So if you are an at-home hobbyist, it might not be that important for you to get a cleaning machine that automatically goes from cleaning to rinsing to drying, because you're not really focused on cleaning as many movements as you can in a day. So it's fine if you have to move the parts from jar to jar yourself, or if you clean them by hand. The result can be just as good as long as you're focused on what you're doing. The cleaning solutions that go into a watch cleaning machine are usually some sort of waterless cleaning solution that needs to be discarded in a certain way because they are toxic, and that can complicate things if you're trying to work at home. So sometimes it's better to just use something like a denatured alcohol, because that will simply evaporate, and you can wipe the oil from the inside of the glass and dispose of the towel in your standard methods. Lots of people think that cleaning a watch requires very specialized equipment, and that isn't the case. The only reason we use specialized equipment in workshop environments is to make our lives a little easier and to speed things up. Washing by hand means you have to wash each individual part one at a time. The most important reason for getting a cleaning machine that automatically switches the parts from cleaning to rinsing and to drying is that you can do other things in the meantime, and they can be very costly. A basic machine will be a few $1,000s. A machine with ultrasonic could be upwards of $10,000. But a glass jar and a can of denatured alcohol with a soft bristled brush will only cost you $20.